Okay, welcome, beautiful people. You got your girl Nakia Neal here on Biz Breaks Podcast, where we talk about, business. We talk to entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, old entrepreneurs, and everybody in between. And my awesome co-host, Mr. Kevin Lewis, is not here today, so I am hosting it live in person. Well, sort of. But we have such an amazing guest here. We have my main man. That's right. I'm introducing you as my main man because this guy, is such a great person, great father, and great businessman. So I just am excited, Chris, to connect with you. So we have Harvey Christopher Miller. We call him Chris. Go by his middle name, but we're about to go ahead and get into it. So tell us about yourself, your business, tell us what you got going on, Chris.
Nike, I've been absolutely blessed. You and I had a chance to talk a little bit off camera before the show, just to kind of tell you how much turmoil there is in this world right now. But for us to still continue to thrive through it all, I cannot be more pleased with what we've been managing to accomplish, as well as those that we've been able to help. Yes, I am Harvey Christopher Miller. I am son of Harvey, father of Harvey, heir to the Miller Empire. Based off of how you approach me, I know where we met and how long ago it was. So some call me Harvey, some call me Chris. I answer to everything. Okay. We have a couple of things going on. Most recently, we have just partnered up and reinvested in a home health care training program where we're training home health aides. And that has become a passion project of mine. Okay. I'll be ready to definitely announce a lot more of that. The current name of the business is Joe Nessa, but we are rebranding, we are relocating. My man Daryl Caston is such an amazing partner to have with that program. So catch me September 1. We will have it all fully rebranded. We're looking for a brand new office, a brand new education center. So listen, Nakia, I'm telling you, it is going to be such an amazing thing because we realize what's missing in that sector. And we realize why so many people are struggling with having aides that are showing work ethic and showing empathy and understanding that is just a stepping stone. So we are fully investing in those individuals that are going to come through our program to the point where people are going to ask, I'm sorry, were you trained by? And that's what we want. We want a certain level of accountability by coming through our program. But if there's something that I was going to discuss today, it would be our other project, which is Boost Black. I mean, that's BOOST Black, Boost Black. Okay. And that's a fun one, Nakia. That's a fun one.
Tell us about Boost Black. It's a little tongue twister here.
A little tongue twister, right? BB in the house.
Tell us about BB. So what's going on with BB?
So we always see these various directories popping up, and we're going to, even in our project, we're going to continue to support all of those directories. But for us, we're trying to aggregate all the things that are going to help the community. Take your program, take the program by Kevin. You both are trying to build wealth in the household, right? And it's not Black specific, but that's kind of your stronger base, right? We see a lot of our melanin,
it kind of is, though.
Our melanin brothers and sisters coming through the door,
right?
But for us, we want to aggregate all of those opportunities, just the knowledge that you are sharing, because yes, you would like to build your business, but just the same, I mean, everything I've heard from you, everything I've heard from Kevin has been education and helping someone navigate the system, understanding why we need, to have life insurance and mutual funds and better credit. I want to take all that information from multiple sources and make sure it's available and talk about it and build kind of this media center around it without trying to hit people over the head for cost. I think there's room. I don't think the individual that is going to be part of one program or look at one resource is going to be mutually exclusive. I think they'll also support our endeavor. And we're going to have fun with it. We're really going to have fun with it. I want you to be able to come on our site and teach people about something.
Oh, good.
And make it available. And that's what we're doing.
So I love to teach. It's one of my strong suits. The pandemic, everybody went to Zoom, right? Everybody, that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier. It's like the whole world just transferred. Everything was online. A lot of people was home. And I think we got to a good understanding of kind of getting back to what's really important. That daily grind that you're in, you can kind of miss those meal times with family, miss certain things. And then it was kind of like stripped away. It was like, wow, I don't want to lose sight of that now that, the world's opening back up and all of those things. Yeah. And now I'm excited to start to get back to talking to people like in front of people, right? To do some of my teaching with people like in not on these little boxes where I'm like, hey, turn your camera on, put your name up here. But actually there I can, just connect with people in that human way. So tell me about this program. So let's say that I have someone and, she wants to learn about, and I'm always going to use she's in my example, by the way, just so queens represent. So she learn more, she's like, sis, I'm tired of not having, my money's together, or I want to learn more about credit or whatever. So if she signs on to this site, how does that exactly work? Does she have access to, hey, this is like a credit seminar, or this is some, your next steps to building, wealth or whatever? How does that work?
So what we're developing is we're trying to put people on a journey. If someone says, hey, I want to learn about credit, we're going to make available the article. We're going to make available the video, but we're going to also try to give them some very specific steps, because that's the problem, right? A lot of us are paralysis from analysis, right? We have all this information and we're like, all right, where do I start? What's this first step?
Wait, what people do though? Their first step is, oh, I seen this video on TikTok. Hey, is this right? Like, is this 10-second video? You're like, I'm about to do that.
Listen, you're right. And we got to meet them, right? We got to meet them where they are going. So if someone hits our site and I know you have a video out there, I might just link to your video with your permission, of course, but I'm also going to talk about it. I'm like, hey guys, this video is important because of this reason. Just the same, things happen in the news and we're bombarded with so much information that we don't understand why we should be concerned that that Stacey Abrams is getting so much pushback for running for governor, that kind of thing. So we want to explain it in the simplest terms of why this is important. Our sites, we're Black, right? So we're not Republican, we're not Democrat. We're factual issues and how it'll affect the community. And that's what we want to make available. And it's just conversations from all these different sources on the site. But we're going to say, hey, listen, the reason you should have life insurance is because bang, bang, bang. So do this, right? First, reach out to this person or go to this community, read this section here, evaluate what you have. Like, we want to make sure that there's no ambiguity in what we're telling you, because I think we can bring somebody from kind of a level 1 knowledge to a level 10 knowledge quickly and simply by giving them very specific bullet points and utilizing people in the community.
Right.
Now, I got to tell you, years ago, I had a chance to meet with a gentleman, and forgive me, I can't even think of his name at this moment, but he said the worst thing that happened to the Black community was civil rights.
He's going to say segregation, right? Because now you don't have to stay in the Black community. You can go out and venture out. And
I had trouble.
Argument.
I was like, what do you say? Especially because we were at Universal Companies. We were down there with Art Furnell and just all these key people. And he said this, we're just sitting over by, the little beverage station, just having a conversation. And he said that. And I'm like, dude, do you see where you're at? Right. And just like you said, he said, never before were we so eager to give away our dollars to people who didn't want to do business with us.
Be accepted, that's a whole nother show. I think me and Kevin kind of went on that show like last week. We went in it and we was talking about the map here and how Africa is so small on the map, but in actuality, it's really like it should be way larger.
Exactly.
We're gonna hit that like we did last week, but I get what
Oh,
you're saying.
listen. I've had those conversations. We talk about how northern countries look much larger for that reason. But what we're trying to do, our site's really not political. Our site is really just about making sure we realize we are not where we want to be, but we're better than what we used to be.
Right.
And our site is really just going to push that message forward. And it's about faith, family, finances, having fun. We're putting all of that on the site.
All the good F's.
All the good F's, exactly. but I as you said, like, hey, what would somebody see, right? They're going to come to the site. They're going to see some articles. They get a chance to do a little search. But maybe they do need just, maybe they need a plumber. Maybe they're looking for another hair salon. Maybe they're looking for a church that's going to be a good fit for them.
Right.
We're right now, we just got the structure together. There are only 2 businesses up there right now. But right now, we're not even addressing the business side. We're addressing the churches. We're addressing our Black organizations.
Okay.
We have a partnership with BDA, Black Deaf Advocates. So they're going to be coming on board.
What is that? I've never heard of BDA.
Black Deaf Advocates are people who are deaf, hearing impaired, or interpreters of the deaf community that are also Black.
Oh.
And they have chapters across the nation, and they're doing events. They are trying to share key information about their community. And they're allowing us to absorb all their information. And we're giving them that platform to talk to people.
Okay.
Because sometimes it's about, them specific, but sometimes we're finding ourselves in a silo and other people don't get the chance to find out what these other groups are doing. Right. And we're doing that with a lot of other Black groups and pulling their information in, because it's not going to hurt. It's only going to help if more people find out what your mission is.
So let me ask you this. So you are, since I've known you, I think we met back in, I want to say 2017. And it's been a moment. And from what I know, you're like a serial entrepreneur. Like this is you are building something all the time. So life before entrepreneurship, like what does that look like? Like what made you become an entrepreneur? What did you do prior to? Like give us a little background story to help somebody out who's like, I want to take that lead, but I don't know. Because a lot of times when we share our stories, people are able to see themselves in that. So give us a little scoop on why you became an entrepreneur.
So my I have to skip. There has to be some editing here, right?
Loaded, right? I know it's loaded. Just give us some stuff. Let's just have a dialogue about that.
So I went to Drexel University, graduate Drexel University, and I was a technology major coming through Drexel. So my first foray in during entrepreneurial activities was actually developing a chip that went inside of PlayStations that we did for recreational purposes only. Recreational purposes only. But that was the first. But if you fast forward, after Drexel, I went to work for Merck and Company. And while I was at Merck and Company, I actually got a phone call. First call came from Beach Advertising. My buddy Matthew Beach allowed me to support his father in training them on technology initiatives. That evolved into me doing web design for Beach Advertising. So huge shout out to Matthew Beach, who I haven't had a chance to talk to in a while, but he is an awesome, awesome guy. But I'm working at Merck and Company. And while there, Keith Leapart, which many people know, Keith is doing his internship for St. Christopher's Hospital. And Keith hits me up. He said, hey, this hospital was just purchased by Tenet and they need somebody to do some web design. He said, are you available? Can you do this? And I said, absolutely. And that turned into an 8-month assignment. They paid me handsomely. And handsomely.
He paid me handsomely.
And I had to evaluate, did I want to keep trading time for money or did I want to step out? Because that project taught me I could do this on my own.
Mhm.
I can make on my own what I can make by somebody handing me this check. Although
Mhm.
there's security there of getting a check every 2 weeks,
Right.
but that allowed me to say, I can do this on my own.
Mhm.
After a series of conversations with my wife, who was working a full-time job that gave me medical benefits, right? That was the other big thing, medical benefits.
That's always people like, listen, I don't want to leave this good job with these benefits and pay this myself. But
Exactly.
thanks,
But you know
thanks.
what? It's that step of faith, that leap of faith. A really cool game that I enjoy playing by the writer of Rich Dad Poor Dad is Cash Flow.
Mhm.
I love that game, right?
Mhm.
That game, everybody should play it. It should be a family game. You play Monopoly and Scrabble and Uno, you
Mhm.
should play Cash Flow,
Yeah.
because you have to see how your mindset ties you into thinking of these small deals and how you
Mhm.
want to graduate to these big deals.
That's a good idea.
And that's difficult for so many of us for
Mhm.
various reasons. If you've grown up with people always telling you, go to school, get a good job, go to school, get a good job, then that's what you're conditioned for. It's
Yes.
not until you have this change in your paradigm that you can say, oh, there's more.
It's more.
Dude, I can cut grass, right? I can mow lawns, I can shovel snow, right?
Mhm.
I can focus on what I enjoy doing, crocheting or painting. Whatever your passion is,
Mhm.
if you're able to convert that over and people want it, if there's
Mhm.
a demand for your product or service,
Mhm.
you owe it to yourself to try it.
Figure it out.
Because once you do, you're gonna love it.
That's that you say that when you just said cut grass and snow removal just made me think of a friend of mine. And he was trying to find himself younger, but just very ambitious guy. Worked for Comcast. I met him through another good friend of mine. And when I met him, just I want to say I met him at 22. And we've known each other for probably, I don't know, I guess 6 years now, something like that. I don't even know. Time is just, that's where you get to be 43. Everything is like maybe 5 years, maybe, I don't know.
Hey, I used to be 43. That was fun.
I used to be 43. Oh,
I
that
used
was
to
just
be
last
43.
year. That's that good black don't crack. See,
Thank you.
you're not as old as Kevin. Look, I always make old jokes to Kevin just to mess with him.
Yo, he could he Kevin doesn't poke back. Kevin hits you with a sledgehammer. He
Oh my
knows
gosh.
it.
He is so petty. Listen, Kev, we talk about
Isn't he?
super petty. Gosh, he's super petty. But no, so this friend of mine, he always wanted to be in real estate. And he looked at some things, wanted to get into real estate. And he started a business right before the pandemic because he liked to travel. So, and he's Latino, speaks Spanish very well, fluent in both. And he started a travel business where it was like, if you want to go to different countries and you don't know the lay of the land, like let's say you want to go to Puerto Rico, but you don't want to do like the island Puerto Rico. You want to do like Puerto Rico where you're out like in the community, rock climbing, doing different things like that. So they started an adventure company with that.
Nice.
Then the pandemic hit though, so couldn't really do much. Then he just got the idea to start cutting grass. And he bought some equipment and just got some people and got a truck and just started getting contracts and started cutting grass, just mowing lawns. And now, his business has done well. And then he picked up some snow removal contracts. And now he has he added on doing a couple like little home repairs, but he didn't have a desire to cut grass, but he's seen an opportunity for it. And from his one business not working and that shift, well, everybody's home during the pandemic, but people still want to have, their grass cut. People, that's one of the things, like, it's like, unaffected. So he's doing well now. And now the capital that he made from that, he's about to close on his first real estate property, and he's not even 30 yet. So I just had to, highlight them. I'm gonna get him on the show one day, but our time frame, he's out there and he's with the workers right now still too. There's a certain point in time, you got to work in your business and work on your business, but before you can step away, you got to build it up. So, and you mentioned cash flow quadrant, so he's still on that S side, to cross over to that B side.
So another book that I always enjoyed was The E-Myth. And the E-Myth says, you can't be 100% in each of the three categories. There's the visionary, there's the manager, and then there's the engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And The engineer is the person who bakes the pies, who cuts the grass, who paints the house. And you can't put 100% effort in that and 100% effort in trying to think of how we're going to grow the business, how we're going to, pick this path.
And all that.
And so my nephew who cuts grass right now, I'm always trying to stress to him, yeah, it's great to make $1, but it's even better if you're only going to make 20 cents, but you didn't get out of bed. So if you could be willing to give up part of that dollar and send that truck that direction and another truck this direction, now you can focus on other things. You're going to make a little less per house,
right?
But you have won your freedom, right? You have escaped the rat race, and then the whole goal is, let's bring in more passive income. Let's bring in more income where I didn't have to leave my house and get that to exceed what my monthly net is. And imagine the freedom that you have once you reach that day. When you have to pay out $2,000 a month, but you have 2,500 coming in every month. That is where I want to be.
That's where you want to be. So tell us about a time as an entrepreneur, because I know there's a couple where it was like, you know what? If you've had this time, I know I have. Well, I'm like, I don't know about this. Like, I don't know if I want to keep going with this. What did that look like for you? Like, what was that moment? And obviously you kept going because you're still here. But what was that time, the thoughts? I can get real with it. I'm like, I was just driving and it was just, I had a hard day and I thought about it. I went to sleep and I prayed and then I woke up and I was like, no. People try to give those fluff answers. Like, let's get real with it, because this is the hero's journey that we're talking about. We know the hero get dirty. So let's talk about it.
I'll tell you, when you own a business, you eat last. Plain and simple. You eat last. So I had to pay the people who worked for me. I had to pay the rent for the office. Otherwise, if you don't take care of the goose that lays the golden eggs, you'll have no more golden eggs.
No more eggs.
So I had to take care of the business. I had to keep investing in the business. And with all that happening, money, there was always, not always, but there were times where there was more month than money.
More month than money.
And let me tell you, that's not a good feeling.
Oh my gosh.
That's difficult on your marriage, in your relationships, right?
On your spirit, like on your soul. It's like, yo.
Listen. So a guy I used to work with, Daryl Montague, and I don't know, hopefully he'll see this, right? Daryl and I were really close, awesome friends. We had a horrible falling out where you cannot unring the bell. Things were said. So, but I learned a lot from that relationship. I learned a lot from being in business with him and doing projects. And we sat in an office one day and we laughed because we said, you know what? We're going to look back on this moment and go, wow, wow. Imagine where we are. My car got repoed. They called me up. Hey, Mr. Miller, you're behind 2 payments on the car. It was I bought a brand new Honda Accord, black leather interior. So love that car. Doing it. Man. And things got tight. And they called me up and they're like, oh, we're going to have to come get that car. Now, everybody was like, yo, go hide that car.
Oh, hide it. Go park it where they can't come get it.
6 blocks away. I didn't. You know what? I was like, you know what? I was like, you know what, guys? This is where it is. Come get it. I'm down. I'm going to be back up. Come get it if you got to come get it. And they came and got it.
Right.
They parked it up in a lot in Conshohocken, not too far from where. Listen, it was like a storage place, and that's back over there. That's where they parked their repo cars. They took the car up there, and it took me, I want to say about 9 days to get it back.
Had to pay those storage fees.
Had to pay the back money, the storage fees, you name it. They
whatever fees, they just fees.
Yeah, because their mindset is, oh, you're never getting this back. But I said, even if I didn't want that car again, I'm getting my car back because I can't take this defeat. When you are in business for yourself, it has to be about perseverance, right? Sometimes you have to step back and go, is this a good idea? Because maybe maybe it's the idea, maybe it's the execution of the idea, right?
Mhm.
But you have to give it time to run its course so you
Yeah.
have enough data, because data
Right.
is key.
Mhm.
And I went through this point where I'm like, well, I know my idea is solid. I know people want my business and my service. So it's really about my execution. It's really
Mhm.
about, am I doing enough to make
Mhm.
sure that I'm doing a project, but there's always something in the pipeline.
Mhm.
And that moment made me learn, yeah, I need something always in the pipeline. And
Mhm.
I treated my business different.
That pipeline is good. That's a good way to next kind of segue. You know, when I think about the pipeline and you think about like a lot of times we don't consider that when we're in business, especially when we're starting out. It's like what's in front of you. When you're in sales, who can I close right now? Who can I close today? Not knowing that you have to do both. Like
Yeah.
who can you close today? Who can you talk to today? But who else are you talking to that you can fill that pipeline? Because those are the sales that are going to come later,
Yeah.
right? And my pipeline used to be dry a lot because I was treating business like a hustle. I've always, I college degree, worked the job, wasn't appreciated. I always had an entrepreneurial spirit though. Part of my entrepreneurial journey too is not liking people to tell me what to do. So that's a whole nother, story in
It's
itself.
a different episode.
Yeah, it's a whole other struggle in itself. It's like you got to get it together. I think I have it together at 43 though. I do think I have it there. But that pipeline and not, being aware of that situational awareness, because
Mhm.
if you're not filling that pipeline and constantly working on that, you don't see it immediately. That's like that 90-day gain that you see, you're in January now, you moving in, and then, come March, April, you're like, wait, what happened? Because you can't really see it. So have you had some times on, obviously from that you learn that pipeline, but how do you keep your pipeline filled now? Like how do you keep it so that you have that goose still laying those eggs, still connecting with people? Like what are some strategies that you use?
So the biggest part is time management.
Mm,
It's nice to go out and play on a sunny day. It's
mhm.
nice to go see the new Marvel movie, but I
What's the new
know,
what's what's the new
well,
Marvel?
I guess the newest one will be Doctor Strange, and Miss Marvel is a new one. Miss Marvel coming out now.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. That's a
but
little no, guys. Go get
look,
that.
I haven't seen Doctor Strange yet, though. Right? I haven't, because I'm only 50 years old this July. 50 years
Ooh.
old.
So first of all, I'm gonna say it. That's good black don't crack because Chris,
Thank
mm,
you.
you look
Thank you
like
very
you're
much.
probably 40, like definitely not 50. But you hear
I
that, Kev?
appreciate
Because Kev looks like he's
that.
70. I'm playing. Kev mess with Kev by his age because he looks so good for his age too. I didn't know he was the oldest he is. Guys, in case you didn't know, Kev's like a whole grandfather. He's 65 years old, but he looks like
Oh, I love it. I love it.
woo, Kev. I'm
Yo,
playing.
you know
All
he's
right,
gonna come at you, right? You know he's gonna come at you.
go. He's gonna
I
go. That's fine.
I so I'm always planting seeds, and I'm always trying to convert customers into clients into
Mhm.
advocates,
Okay.
because I can only talk to but so many people. But if
Mm-hmm.
I have a great social media mix, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm reinvesting in my own marketing,
Mm-hmm.
and I have people out there, when you say, hey, I need fill in the blank, that their response is, I got a guy, right? I want everybody who does business with me to say, I got a guy, he'll
Mm-hmm.
take care of you.
Yeah.
And once again, I've been very blessed to have enough people out there always looking out for me, and
Mm-hmm.
and there's some social credibility they get too, right? If they're able to say, oh, you need what, you know what, I can connect you with somebody who's going to take care of you, off
Mm-hmm.
of the strength that they know me.
Mm-hmm.
So you send me somebody, and they need a logo or a website, or they want to be part of Boost Black, they
Mm-hmm.
know they're going to be taken care of, because they're not coming off the street.
Right.
They're being passed through a personal relationship.
Yeah, that
And,
referral is big.
yo, referrals are huge, and that's what's helped us survive 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
16 years of just Cadello designs and all the things that break off of that structure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the home health aid program that I've invested into
Mm-hmm.
was, once again, through a series of relationships. I didn't just walk through Daryl Caston's door for us to form the bond that we have.
Mhm.
You know, I met him through a series of relationships, and we've cultivated it, and we've broken bread together, and
Mhm.
that's what's important. You mentioned earlier about the difficulties of having to operate in this virtual world.
Mhm.
And you're right. Like there's those pros and cons. We don't
Mhm.
get a chance to press flesh, right,
Yeah.
and laugh and kick back, and and it's a little more difficult. But
Mhm.
just the same, we're now able to be a little more efficient with our time. We're able to talk to, you're 5 hours away from me right now, and
Right.
at a drop of a dime, we can have this type of session. So
Right.
we just have to keep managing all these relationships in this wonderful matrix of a world, and
Mhm.
just make sure we show appreciation for every one of these connections.
Yeah. It just you just made me think. I forgot about this until just now when you were just talking your story. I remember you and Kev were connected with, I can't think of the company. It was like a health aid company or something you was doing some technology with or some business stuff with. So did that the idea that you have now with the home health aid, did it kind of get birthed from that experience? Like where you guys kind of had that first run? Because that is, I'm glad that you guys are doing it. It's definitely, with business and any successful business, right? You have to find a niche and fill it, a need and fill it, right? And
Mhm.
that's a tremendous need. It's such a high turnover position. Like AIDS come and go, come and go. A lot of people are doing it for their relatives and things like that. So it's advertised a lot in that way. And in
Mhm.
my own personal journey in life, my grandmother was at a facility and there was, we had some issues with some AIDS and things like that. So tell me, how did you like this? Was like, you know what, this is a brainchild? Because Chris, you always come up with amazing ideas, like just
Thank
business
you.
flows from your brain. So how did this like explosion happen? And you say, hey, I'm going to act on this. This is a winner.
So everything that I do, it's all interconnected.
Mhm.
I took a role as the director of a non-clinical division at a home health aid agency,
Mhm.
and learned so much. I walked into that role not having anything to do with healthcare, but
Mhm.
simply being just a kind, empathetic person
Mhm.
and being a salesperson. So
Mhm.
if you're selling, design services or in this case, healthcare services, for me, sales is sales.
Sales and
And
sales.
I went to that role. I learned everything I could learn about that role. And I saw that there was a huge opportunity. The
Mhm.
people who were taking care of your grandmother, taking care of our neighbors, taking care of people who are end of life, end of life seniors primarily, right? They are, 80 plus years of age. They do not have the private insurance to go to some plush establishment, so they end up in usually substandard places.
Mhm.
The studies have shown that people thrive by being in their own home, around their own
Mhm.
stuff, and their
Mhm.
family be able to come by and visit. But they just need a little help, washing,
Mhm.
cleaning, um, doing some cooking. What we do though is, although we realize the role itself is compensated by the federal level to the state level, it's
Mhm.
$19.55 per hour. That's it. Out of
Mhm.
that, you got to pay someone's hourly rate,
Mhm.
insurances, all these other costs
Mhm.
associated. That it's really a substandard hourly rate that an individual is getting, usually no more than $14 an hour.
Right.
So we are understanding that, hey, if we make sure people feel valued, but
Mhm.
just saying, we're going to make sure that we look at the human and not just the employee. So
Mhm.
we're saying, hey, you probably don't have the best credit. You probably don't have life insurance. You probably haven't owned a home.
Mhm.
You've never taken a trip. Like all
Mhm.
the things that build the quality of life, we're
Mhm.
focusing on that as well. So
Okay.
even on the so when we're putting you through training,
Mhm.
we're trying to make sure we understand there's a development plan for you. That
Mm.
you're doing this role, because you like healthcare and your goal is to
Right.
become a nurse. Well,
Right.
let's talk about what that step really looks like. And let's help you find the funding. Let's find a mentor for you. But just the
Got you.
same, let's make sure your credit's right. Let's make sure you're not burning, scorching the earth in every financial, everything you've done financially that you're not,
Right.
it's just horrible, right? But we're trying to make sure you're educated and we change your mindset, because once again, it's all about the exposure to what could be. And we're trying to help you be the best you can in this moment, but look forward all the time in a growth mindset. And that's what's making our program so strong, because we're bringing you in, we're training you, we're helping you find a job, but we're not breaking that relationship just because you got that job. You're part of our talent community. And because of that, if you're not happy or if you want additional work, you're part of our circle. And we're going to keep you constantly growing and moving. And people appreciate that that servant leadership, right? Because they understand, you have to make money, but you're trying to make sure I'm in a better place, that I'm making money. We can all win, right? And that's where we are.
And that's good. That's a different approach than, most agencies that you're going to come across. And now, as you're speaking right now, I'm like, I know I have somebody. I always like to connect people, right? Connect the dots. I have a friend who is getting into that space now. They're waiting for, I guess, some licenses and some things like that to get approved. But I will definitely be recommending your training program as it's getting up and running and all of those things too. So yeah, and I'm thinking of other people too back in my network. I'm like, oh, I have a good one for you too. We'll connect outside of this. This person, their job is to go and get contracts for their company. And I think they're independent, but we'll have a conversation outside of this. See, listen, one of the things that you always got to do, right, when you're in business is to pay it forward. You always got to make sure that you're connecting people, and and that's how and that fits too with Boost Black.
Boost Black.
Oh, look, I was a little sure. I was like, I almost got it.
We are boosting the Black community.
Boosting them up, right? So with the Boost Black is making those connections and making those dots. So, Chris, tell me, you are a family man. So how has being an entrepreneur affected your family in a positive way? How do you speak to your children about business, or do they have any aspirations to being in business themselves or anything like that? Tell us a little bit about your kids and how that works.
I've been married for going on 29 years this December.
Relationship goals right there, guys.
3 amazing children. We just came back from Milwaukee, where my oldest just received her master's degree. She is a principal of a middle school. And even because of what we've done, I'm sorry?
She's a principal of a middle school in Milwaukee?
In Milwaukee, yeah. My oldest lives in Milwaukee.
Okay.
So even with her having a great role, great position in school still, because she's now she's looking for a doctorate program. She understands that we are all volunteers, right? We work at a company because we choose to work there, and they choose to allow us to work there. But at any time, that relationship can change.
Yes.
So you never want a single relationship like that to disrupt your entire world. So you need some safeguards. You need some stopgaps. And part of that is identify something you like doing.
Right.
It starts as a hustle and becomes a business, right? So baking pies, or in her case, doing tutoring and training and writing curriculum becomes a separate business, right?
Okay.
My younger daughter, my middle child, is a laboratory scientist, and she's about to go to med school.
Okay.
She too loves something outside of what her career path is, and that's beauty and travel and blogging and becoming an influencer on that side. So that's becoming her path. My youngest son, also a traveler, he is in school right now. He's a college student right down here in Virginia.
Okay.
He is, 800 credit score, money in the bank.
Yeah.
He's looking at properties right now. So everything that we went through as a young broke couple and the mistakes that we made, we have tried to make sure that our kids avoid that. Now, kids are kids, right? They need to see if the iron is hot. They need to see if the stove is hot sometimes, right?
Sometimes.
So we realized there's some pushback, but we've been so fortunate because everything that we've talked to them about education and about finances, they've said, okay, all right. So you're saying don't do this, but do that. And we
Right.
always leave enough room that they still have some decision making to do on their own.
Right.
And they've all done very well with that journey.
Right.
So and that's all influenced because you see, yeah, there were times where things were lean, but as my father used to tell me, Christmas can come anytime, right? When you think of the gift aspect of it, right? You might not get that thing you wanted in December,
right?
But February is going to be better, right? And that's what we went through, and that's what they see. To the point now that we are older, and we've made much better decisions on the second half of our lives than we did in the first half.
Right.
That even now where economy and people didn't have toilet paper and people had to, go into work and we're worried about $5 an hour gas, I mean $5, a gallon gas.
Yeah.
We've not had to go through that. No matter how bad the economy is, Mercedes is still selling cars. Disney World is still crowded.
Yep.
We want to be in that pool of people where, yeah, there's money out here. You just have to adjust, pivot, get to where that money is. And that's where we are at this point in our lives. So we've been thriving. We've been traveling and eating well and loving life continuously because we've created enough avenues of revenue, enough streams of revenue that even when one area might be a little tight, there are other areas that are flourishing.
Right. So that's good, Chris, because it sounds like, that grind that you put in, years before, like you said, it pays off. It's those stages where we're in such a microwave society now where it's like, if I started something in January, people were like, hey, are you rich yet in like April? It's like
instant gratification.
Right. And there's some, business is cyclical. It's cycles to this, and there's learning curves and there's all of those things. And it's not, even people when they say this person was a overnight success. No, they weren't. You just didn't know about them before. You didn't see the grind before. You didn't, so people seeing you now in your success now, and where before that $5 gas might have been like, oh, well, let me get the bike out today. Like, you know what I mean? What are we going to do? Let me get creative. So that's really good. And that your children learn from some of those mistakes. Like I am an old mom. So I have a 3-year-old at 43.
Oh, I'm losing you a little.
Oh, can you hear me? Uh-oh. Chris, I got you.
I can see you now. 3-year-old at 43.
I have a 3-year-old at 43. So I will, I talk to people like you. So I'm like, hey, let me get some wisdom, some parenting, do's and don'ts, some things. I mean, everything is not going to work, but I'm a bit of an old mom, but I found that there's a lot of old moms like myself. So there's a little network of us. We're all coming together and doing our little play dates and things like that. And, she's going to keep me young for a long time. And then I have
so much though. Nakia, I miss the chaos of having a little one in the household.
That feels good to hear because, I'm working from home today. And as I look around, I said, oh yeah, there's some chaos. There's some chaos. If you miss it, you're welcome to come and live in that. But, she keeps me young. That's what I said. I told her that. I said, we're going to be young for a long time. And then I have my almost 12-year-old. It's my niece, but I've been raising her my own for the last 6 years.
I remember.
Yeah, in Nevaeh. And she is, she's starting cheer. So we're doing that now. And so that's going to be fun. Awesome. I got the two spectrums. But in talking about kids and entrepreneurship, I don't push anything on her. I just try to show by example, giving her different things to think about. She's changed what she wanted to do like 18 times, as a lot of kids do. She wants to be a baker. I want to have this company. I want, all of these different things. And she loves art. So she's like a creator. So let me ask you this. You when you talk about your children right now in education, Did you stress the importance of like getting the good grades in school, or was it like more like the best effort? Because maybe was any of your children that not that like academically inclined, like, I don't really like reading, but I excel in other things that's not necessarily tracked in school. Like, did you have any of that going on?
So they all were different types of learners.
Mhm,
Some tactile, other ones, they just could hear it and instantly got it.
mhm.
My middle daughter always had the tenacity. I remember going, "Hey, let's go out and play basketball," and she's like, "Hold on, Dad, I got to finish my homework." Like she was that person. My
Right.
son, he would have a test the next day, and he could drop everything to come roll with me.
That's Nevaeh.
So
She's like, okay, Auntie, let's roll.
let's go. And the lady, like, hold on, didn't you have that to do? Why would you come up? You're like,
Me
oh, I'm
too.
sorry. So, so we've always stressed learning.
Mhm,
Paulo Freire wrote this article about the banking concept of education
mhm,
and how some teachers feel like I should give you the information and then you should regurgitate it back to me. And we've
mhm,
never liked that. We've
mhm,
always given our kids the resources to ask questions, even sometimes against authority. Do
mhm,
what I say, and then let's discuss it because I want you to understand why we picked this over that.
mhm,
I wanted them always to be able to have good critical thinking
mhm,
and a strong or a high emotional intelligence, and it
mhm,
served them well. So it
mhm,
wasn't always about did you get good grades. It was
mhm,
more about, well, what did you learn? Very
mhm,
often when our kids come in, you go, well, how was your day? And
mhm.
click world responses, oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Well, you need to tell me what was so great about it. To
Mhm.
the point where we didn't get the answer it was great anymore.
Right.
It was, how was your day? And they go, okay, well, I see this dude got a couple of minutes.
Exactly.
Let me sit down and tell him so he don't ask me 9,000 questions.
Right.
And that's still part of that same conditioning.
Mhm.
I you want your children to be able to go into situations and not be intimidated by what's around them and who's there.
Yeah.
Ask questions because that's what's going to protect them later on.
Mhm.
Not that we're trying to create this sense of entitlement,
Mhm.
but hey, this is how we have to do this. Well, do it because you want to be obedient. But
Right.
then say, well, Dad, let me ask you. You wanted me to clean this or organize that or put that, but I felt like this might have been a better way because I'm
Mhm.
open minded. I
Right.
might listen. You don't know where a great idea will come from, so you
Mhm.
go, okay, well, you're right. That would have been better. Next time, let's do it your way.
Right. Right.
And they grow from that.
Mhm.
So like your daughters, as they try to chisel out what they want to do, there are questions you'll need to ask about, well, why that over this, or
Mhm.
where's the need, or
Yep.
what's the end result. And
Mhm.
we got to start doing discovery to help them identify something that's going to bring them happiness
Mhm.
and something we're going to feel comfortable with, hopefully as well, right? Because
Yes.
we know the struggles. We
Yes.
know we know where, especially if you've exposed your child to great food and travel and these nicer things of life
Oh, they bougie.
outside of the neighborhood, right?
Bougie. Girl is
Listen,
bougie.
and bougie's not bad, right? Because bougie is supposed to give somebody a taste of
Yep.
something greater.
Yep. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, where'd you get that? Oh yeah, I forgot I created this. So real quick with this. So the 2-year-old last night, it's time for bed. And I said, okay, have your pajamas. So I'm normally like the options. You want to wear the ladybugs or you want to wear the unicorns? Now she's in a princess outfit right now. She loves to wear it. She gets dressed up all the time in her princess. So she looks at neither, she looks at both. No, mommy. I said, which one you want? Asked her. She said, no, mommy, I'm princess. Cool. You're going to bed in a princess costume. I'm fine with that. As long as you're going to bed, let's go brush your teeth. Like,
There we go.
it's-
There you go.
I'm not even signing up for that struggle. But she was dead up. She said,
I
no,
love it.
I'm a princess. Yes, you are. You're a mommy's princess. Mommy's the queen. So she goes around, mommy the queen. Yes, and you're the princess.
I love it.
Yeah. So is there anything that you want to discuss in your entrepreneurial journey that we didn't touch on yet that you feel as though may help someone else out there? stick with it or, get to the next level? Is there anything like that you can think of that we haven't touched on that you want to share?
I would just say, look for opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
There's something around us. What I find, people aren't dreamers anymore. And then those that are dreamers aren't people who will execute.
And I do.
We've all been at a point where we've went, oh, that'll be a great idea, and we don't do it. And then later you see someone else has done it. Or we think someone's already, because it's already been done, that we shouldn't touch it.
Right.
There's always a better mousetrap. That person, you don't know where that person who's already doing it is in their journey. Right. They might be at the end of the life cycle of what they're doing. Right. You might come in with this whole fresh spirit, different resources, different connectors and influences in your life. And it could be an awesome idea. But when we hesitate, when we try to wait for this perfection, we want all the ducks to line up. It just doesn't work out. You have to release your idea, your activity, your project. You have to release it to the universe. Yeah. Let the universe decide. Yeah. So hop out there, guys. I was reading an article. Coinbase went from zero to a multi-billion-dollar company in a really short period of time, and they thought they were invincible. And now with crypto losing, I don't know what, 50-60% of their value, they've lost over $1 billion of their worth. They extended jobs to people. People quit their job because they got this new job. And now, because things are so rough for Coinbase is rescinding offers. Coinbase is literally saying, hey, we wanted you, but unfortunately, we've had to make some other decisions.
Oh, wow.
That's a problem. Because we don't know what tomorrow holds. Even the strongest of giants, strongest of civilizations, strongest of companies can still tumble down. We have to build up our own security, our own financial security. Right. So start your project, start your idea. Don't hesitate. Start with just picking a general name and creating an LLC. Start there. Go get your EIN number, get your DUNS number, register with Dun & Bradstreet, do all those things. Start there and backfill it from there.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So let me get into the question and answer phase. You gotta go quick. All right.
Okay, I'm thinking. Let's do it.
It's lightning round. So tell me, what is one of the best books that you've ever read that influenced you? I know there's a lot, but you only get to choose one. What would that be?
Blue Ocean.
Blue Ocean. That's a new one for me. You know who wrote it?
So I can't think of it. I have it on the shelf, I'm sure. But Blue Ocean's premise is this. We always think about, I'm sorry, lightning round, right? We always think of
now you can talk about it.
Kill the competition. We always think of blood in the water. Blue Ocean says, no, don't try to compete with your competitor. Create a category that there is no competition. The example it gives is Ringling Brothers. Ringling Brothers has been doing business for over 100 years. Cirque du Soleil came on the scene and made more money in 20 years than Ringling Brothers did in 100 years. Because Cirque du Soleil said, let's remove all the problematic things from a circus. Let's get rid of the animals. Let's get rid of the celebrities. Let's make it a higher class event, charge more, and we'll do well. So when you think of Cirque du Soleil, Ringling Brothers is not in that category. They're different, but they're the same. So they've created a niche that's unlike anything else. So look at what you do or what you want to do and find out how to make it so unique you don't have competition.
That's good. That's good. So what is some of the worst business advice you've ever gotten?
The worst business advice, run out and take a loan. I had a guy talk to me about, he wanted me to take a loan. He did capital financing. He was going to approve me for $250,000, $225,000. He said, with this money, you could, and fill in the blank. And I was like, I'm not doing that. Because one, to have money, there's the cost of having money. And if you're not converting that into something that's revenue generating, how's that really helping you?
Yeah.
Have that business plan, know how you're going to execute that business plan, have all your resources set up, and only borrow, if you are going to borrow what you need, borrow what you can put into play that's going
Mm-hmm.
to help you get to that next level. Because there's good debt and bad debt, and that
Mm-hmm.
would have quickly become bad debt for me.
That was good, because a lot of times people are like, oh, you're gonna give me this amount of money? Let me take it. And then think about how they're gonna repay and all those things on the back end. So that was
No,
good.
no.
Yeah. So what is would you say, dang, what's that question that Kev always asks? Oh, here it goes. What is your when you think about one of the most influential people in your life that added to your business, who would that be? That's not a
My
Kev,
father.
that was me. Hmm?
My father.
Your
My
father.
father was such a huge influence
Mm-hmm.
on who I am today. Everything from work ethic to paying it forward to
Mm-hmm.
being kind. My father and always take care of family. That was his biggest thing. So, and that's just not my wife and my kids. That's my sisters and my aunts, and
Right.
and we make sure that we take care of family.
That's good. I
Right?
love that. Okay. Now, ending with this, what is uh one thing that you wish that you would have known? Like one of those things like, oh, I wish I had known that. I would have been better off. Do you have anything like that? Like if I had known that, it would have been better for me. Got any of those kind of
So I am throughout my career. There have been a few instances where I've been offered some amazing opportunities, but they came when I was being adverse to risk. I assessed risk, and I was just like, I'm not sure about, and I didn't. One of which was a beautiful property on. Sorry, my son is leaving. I love you. No, and um, and sorry, I don't know if you saw that. That was that. Listen, he's not two. Yeah, you got a 2-year-old. I got a 21-year-old. Um, but it was a beautiful property right there in Germantown. $300,000 property. He said, "Hey, take this property." It was literally a mansion in the middle of Germantown.
Mm-hmm.
300,000. It was already stripped down to the beams. He said, "Take the property. I can't do what I wanted to do with it. I just want it off my books." And I said, I don't have the paper for it right now. I can't support it, right? He's like, he was literally paying me, $8,000 a month at that time. He said, I was billing, He said, don't worry about it, dude. Just take it. And I asked my crew, I asked my advisors, I talked to my wife, and everyone was like, "Oh, I don't know. What about this? What about that?" And I didn't take it. And it was a huge misstep. That was a 800 now in today's market, $800,000 easily.
Yeah.
And I had a crew who could have done the work. And sometimes we're afraid of are we going to be able to recoup or bounce back should something not go right?
Yep.
And risk assessment is important, but sometimes we have to take that leap of faith.
Sometimes we go into it with the, well, what if it doesn't work and all of these reasons, but not going into what if it does and it's da da da. It's usually not that way. It's not, if it does, it's like if it doesn't, oh my God, fear just it scares a lot. I get it.
God put some things in our path, and we have to be willing to listen. And sometimes we're not. Sometimes we hear or we create the narrative of our own. So, but this has been awesome.
Yes, it was. Best show ever. Best show ever, hands down, hands down. Best guest ever, best host ever.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Listen, maybe Regis had to leave. Kelly took over. Maybe Kelly needs to look for a new. Call me.
I'll call you. No, all jokes aside, I love my bro Kevin. I am looking forward to you coming back, Kev, next week. But Chris, definitely having you come back because our energy is always there. We always had that immediate bond right from the door, way back with our Black Business Network. Absolutely, yes. So tell the people how they can find you. So they want to reach out to you. What's your social media handles? Like, how do they get to you?
So we're definitely have Boost Black that we're now creating, but I just tell everybody still harveychrismiller@gmail.com. Shoot me a note. Just shoot me a note. Let me know how we can work together, whether it's because you're on a home health aid side, somebody who's doing the service, or if you own an agency, hit me up. Or if you want to participate in Boost Black, we just got a new phone number. We're changing numbers up. We're changing up all of our marketing for that.
Mhm.
It's a good, solid project that I think was going to bring benefit to many people.
I love it.
So check us out there at boostblack.com.
Okay, so you said boostblack.com, but you said your email address is it harveychrismiller@gmail?
Yep, correct. My Harvey Chris, not Christopher, just Chris Miller. harveychrismiller@gmail.com.
Gotcha. We're putting that right on there in the chat. So it has been a pleasure, good brother. Appreciate you so much and wish you the very best in your business endeavors. And we will connect again soon. So peace out, business people. Listen, tune in every week, Wednesdays at 1:00, Biz Break Podcast. You can find us on all your social media platforms. Look us out, share, click, subscribe, all of that good stuff. All right, deuces.
Take care, everybody.